Welcome once again to the Fantasy Forecast with Grindberg and bigz. This is the weekend news recap and waiver wire show. Week 6. Producer, hit that button.
Let's go.
Welcome back to the Fantasy Forecast with Grindberg and bigz, ladies, gentlemen, and you. He is Grindberg. I am bigz. We're here to discuss the weekend that was in the NFL for Week 6 in fantasy, and we had some hits, we had some misses. We're going to go over those. There are some compelling storylines like rookie tight ends and backup running backs and things like that we're going to discuss. So let's get into it. Michael Lindbergh, how you doing?
Thanks. That's pretty formal of you, Brendan Booth. It was pretty good, man. I'm doing all right. It was a pretty stormy weekend here, so the temperatures are changing. So we got a really bad rainfall, and it got cold. So all the leaves are pretty much now just falling, and we're at about 32 degrees here right now. So it's pretty chilly.
I had an anniversary weekend. My partner and I have now been together for 15 years, a decade and a half. So we went away to the coast for basically Saturday. We drove around Northern California sampling cheeses because in our area or close to our area, it's about an hour drive. It's Dairyland. It kind of mimics Northern France. And so there's a lot of like cheese producers, and then also there are huge oyster beds in Tamales Bay. So it was a lot of cheese and oysters. We spent a good Saturday night in a tiny little town. There's a cheese shop, a grocery store, and 3 restaurants, and one of those is a hotel, and that's it. That's the town. And it was pretty cool. I bought some varied sausages from the market and some smoked salmon. It was a really good weekend. That's where I was for breakfast with bigz. I was in a tiny little hotel room. Rebecca took a picture of me podcasting in my underwear, so that was fun. And it was a good weekend. I have to admit, I didn't watch any football until the Sunday night game, and then I was distracted by work. So I missed a whole lot of stuff. Everything I know about this weekend comes from like looking at sleeper stats on my rosters and stuff.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can get our viewers some good analysis over the weekend, because there's a lot that happened, obviously, and we got 4 big storylines, bigz, and no need to mention, spending weekends with you. At least you had some underwear on. That's a good thing. So we're going to move on here, and we're going to talk a little bit about our storyline number 1, and that is Rico Dowdle. Wow, what a redemption run. He torches the Dolphins, sets the stage for a Dallas revenge game. Now, Rico Dowdle, he told his Panthers teammates he was going to go off, and he did exactly that. He must have been telling Schultz about it too, because remember, Schultz was mentioning him on the forecast leading into the weekend. He didn't matter who was starting at running back for the Panthers. He knew it was going to be a big game, but no one, not even Schultz, could expect the eruption of 206 yards and a touchdown against the Dolphins, nearly breaking the Panthers' single-game rushing record after early turnovers by Bryce Young left Carolina down 17-0. It was Dowdle's relentless bruising runs, highlighted by a 53 and a 43-yard breakaway. What a game. bigz, he exploded onto the scene, 206 yards and that touchdown. Now he's heading into that revenge game, whose defense has been shaky at best. And Chuba Hubbard, still nursing that calf injury, is likely to miss another one. Dowdle is shaping up to be a must start in week 2 and maybe a long-term hold. Or should fantasy managers treat him as a 1-week wonder against a soft run defense? Or what are you doing with him, essentially?
So He is absolutely an RB2. It was kind of upsetting over the offseason when he landed in Carolina behind Chuba Hubbard, because he absolutely has the skill set to be an RB1 in a room. And we saw that from his top 15 efficiency in 2024. So yeah, he's a must pick up if he still is on your waiver wire. He's definitely a must start if Chuba Hubbard doesn't go, and he's a hold if regardless. I have him drafted in a bunch of leagues just because he presented himself as a good handcuff, and with Chuba behind Chuba Hubbard, and Chuba actually did get hurt, and so he paid off in a bunch of leagues for me. And Schultze was right about the matchup. It was a must start for either of those two guys, and they are both must roster fellows.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was a game that is just going to be one that cements him and keeps him relevant. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about Rico Dowdle as the show goes on here, Big. So Jonathan,
let's skip the next one. Let's skip it.
You want to skip the next one? How come?
Because it was evil. How do you go for 2 with a 30-point lead, you jerks?
I get it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just ignorant. I'm sorry. It was against your Raiders. I get it. I'm sorry, Biggs. Jonathan Taylor dominates in the red zone. Dominates. And he's reminding the league why, he's no pushover. And Jonathan Taylor made sure everyone felt it. While his overall yardage, it wasn't great, but he had 3 touchdowns, and that 2-point conversion that Biggs mentioned, it delivered all kinds of physicality and vision that makes him that all-pro, and now a surging offensive line and a smart turnover-free outing from Daniel Jones. Now Taylor has consistently capitalized on short fields, and he created, opportunistic opportunities for himself here. So Jonathan Taylor looking like a clear-cut RB1. He's now for surely cemented in that RB1 overall range here. After that 2-point conversion, like you mentioned, it wasn't even necessary. Is he re-entering the elite fantasy RB1 tier here, Biggs, even if his yardage isn't always there? Daniel Jones does get some of those red zone looks, and Anthony Richardson seems to be ramping up a little bit here too. So is this a ceiling thing, or is this something that we're just going to be looking at continuing on against teams like Arizona and New England that are on deck?
Re-entering? Don't call it a comeback! He never left. Jonathan Taylor is an elite running back. He always has been. You might see an age cliff coming, but we're not talking about 2025. He's elite. Yeah, and the production's been there. He's just been excellent, and it was just some injuries that got him to where he was, and that's why kind of, people forget about it. It's what are you doing for me now, and what he's doing for us right now is winning people leagues week after week with these 3 touchdown performances. I think this was his second one of the year. So when you can get a guy getting 3 touchdowns, he doesn't need to get any yardage, really. 60 yards can easily be, mistaken or hid when you get 3 touchdowns on the board, especially when you add some passing upside too, which he's, getting at least 4 targets a game now too. So looking great here for Jonathan Taylor moving forward. Now, Biggs, another running back situation that, people like us we were talking him up a lot this offseason, and now he breaks out and he finds Washington's offensive balance without even overworking Jaden Daniels. So in a hype quarterback duel between Jaden Daniels and Justin Herbert, it was 7th round rookie Jacory Croskey-Merritt who stole the show. Washington backed an erupted 111 yards, 2 touchdowns on just 14 carries, slicing through, and he wore down the Chargers defense behind a dominant offensive line where he did put up the ball on the ground once. But you know what? It was easily forgotten because by that point, he'd already had 2 touchdowns. With Daniel still returning to form after that recent injury, the ability to lean on that ground game was important, and Croskey-Merritt did deliver. Now, with him with that 100-yard game, 2 touchdowns, 14 touches. Is he shaping up this week to be,
the Commanders' top waiver wire ad, or us as fantasy managers? What do you think we're doing here with him moving forward? Is this a perfect storm right now? What do we do with guys like Chris Rodriguez or Jeremy McNichols? How concerned should we be about those guys? Is Jacory-Merritt just stole the show here?
Well, you really shouldn't have been playing Rodriguez or McNichols except in super emergency situations anyway. Bill is he's legit, and he's got an opportunity. That's the kind of game that solidly puts him on the coach's radar and lets him take over a backfield. But as far as a waiver wire ad on Sleeper, he's 97% owned, so it's not like he's available in many leagues. People have been in on JCM for most of the last 5 weeks. It was just this time he actually got a chance to show it. It was his highest total number of touches, and of course the 7.93 yards per carry was pretty good. He was only in on 47% of the snaps, so you'd like to see him get a bigger snap share, but it was his second time having double-digit touches. He had touchdowns in both of those games, and in those games, he's had yards per carry of 8.2 and 7.93. In week 4, he had a yards per carry of 6.71, and he's currently sitting as RB22 with 6.58 yards per carry. So at 6.5 yards per carry, if he sustains that over the course of the season and gets 150 more rushes, he's definitely in top 10 conversation. So everything kind of regresses back to the mean. Is it going to be his yards per carry? Possibly. But I do definitely see him finishing in your top 15, top 20 running backs for the season. So if you haven't already gone and picked him up and he happens to be on your waiver wire, which is kind of crazy, go make that claim. And he's definitely a trade for candidate if you need some RB help.
There you have it. Yeah, definitely on Sleeper he's nabbed up, but on some of these ESPN Yahoo leagues, there's still some availability here, so we'll add them to our list as we get through the show here. And then one more big news line here that we got to cover, Biggs, and we both have been talking about him for a while. He's a guy that I had highlighted earlier in the season, in the off season, as a guy that I felt was going to make the 53, the starting lineup right out of the gate, not just the 53, but actually like being in the starter. That was a bold prediction. And then I, went further and got him as a top 15 finish. And it looks like he's right on target to do that. He is sitting right now at, wide receiver 5 overall headed into Monday night. And it's incredible stuff from the rookie Emeka Egbuka, Tampa's 19th overall pick. He's making waves, not just as a contributor, but as a historic performer through 5 games. He became the first NFL player in history to record at least 25 catches, 400 receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns, a triple crown of receiving stats that signals an elite start to his career. His week 5 outing against the Seahawks, it was a masterpiece as he racked up 7 receptions, 163 yards, and a touchdown, including a third down conversion and clutch third down conversions and explosive plays. Now Biggs with Egbuka showing historic production and early becoming the clear wide receiver 1 in Tampa. How sustainable do you think his role and scoring upside are throughout the season, especially as defenses start to adjust? Is he a buy high candidate right now, or are you trying to take full advantage of his stock and selling him?
You keep him.
Absolutely.
You don't sell him. Buy high, but who's going to be willing to give up on him? One of the things is on these shows, we tend to talk about short-term things, explosive weekends, things like that. So it's the trending topic without looking at the actual long-term ideas. And we saw Egbuka coming. We knew coming out of college that he was going to be one of the elite guys in this wide receiver class from 2025. And he's hitting a little bit earlier than most rookie wide receivers do. but he has carved out his own niche in that offense. There's not going to be target competition from Evans when he comes back. McMillan is going to come back at some point, but they love him too. In Dynasty, especially long term, like McMillan and Egbuka moving forward over the next few years are going to be absolutely popping. Chris Godwin doesn't present much of a challenge to Egbuka. He's just super good, and he's marking his territory in that elite tier. So yeah, if somebody's willing to give him up, go for it.
Totally. Yeah, I'm giving up lots for him right now if I could. I mean, he's on a lot of my rosters, so I'm not too concerned, and he'll propel me in a lot of leagues this week with some monster performance. So,
and I do, before we move on to the we have breaking news. Omarion Hampton is now on the IR.
Oh,
and fire up your Hassan Haskins shares.
Or your Kamani Vidal too. You know, we talked about him last year a little bit as well. So a couple of guys to be adding on our radar as we head into the the home stretch here.
But I did want to talk real quick about the rookie tight ends in fantasy, especially like this last week.
Yeah.
We've been talking about rookie tight ends for quite a while, and one of the things on most of our shows that I was trying to pose, one of the questions I was trying to ask, especially to Andrew Cooper, shout out at Cooper Fiasco, friend of the show, was, is this an elite class of, because there are usually only a couple tight ends per class that hit. Is this an elite class where 5 or 6 are going to hit, or are we going to see a bunch of fall off? And when you look at like this week, we had Theo Johnson finishing so far, as Monday night still hasn't happened, but Theo Johnson finishes tight end 3, Mason Taylor tight end 7, Tyler Warren tight end 10, Harold Fannin tight end 14. There are a ton of rookie tight ends that are absolutely going off. Gunnar Helm got some points. Mitchell Evans got a touchdown. And they're outscoring guys like Mark Andrews and Hunter Henry. So be on the lookout for rookie tight ends. It is a new era.
There you have it. I love it, bigz. And we've been touting that tight end class all off season, and it's starting to come to fruition. And a lot of dart throws, and some of them are actually hitting here, and it's great to see it happen. All right, let's move into our studs and duds of the week. We every week, folks, as you know, we give our starts and sits, and then as the weekend progresses and it's Monday, well, we start talking about our hits and our misses. So let's talk about our studs and duds. And bigz, I'll take the lead here this week, as I always let you go first. So I told everybody to sit Kenneth Walker against a stout defense here, and he did all right. He didn't get into the end zone, and he didn't only got 8.9 fantasy points. So I'd say I hit that one pretty darn good. Another one, I told everybody to sit BTJ, and that has not happened yet, that game. So we'll have to revisit that on our start and sit show coming up. Biggest whiff of still a guy that in full, like I had thought, and apologize to our viewers that went on me and kept on that flame here. But I did tell everybody to start Justin Fields, who had a really nice game as well. So a couple hits, a big miss. Bigz, how did you do, man?
I did much better than half the last couple of weeks. I whiffed on Cortland Sutton. I expected Quinyon Mitchell to do what he does and absolutely shut Cortland Sutton down, but Cortland Sutton finished as wide receiver 16, which meant he was startable. So I didn't hit that one. I did say sit Geno Smith, and he had 5.92 points from the quarterback position. So that was an absolute smash. I said start Cam Scatterbo. He finished in the RB2 position, and I said start Chris Olave, who finished in flex position. So I nailed 3 out of 4 of them. Did a little better than than Schultze. Schultze got the Chuba Hubbard one. Judkins will give it to him for the 100 yards. But he said sit Baker Mayfield, who had an absolute like stunner of a game. And then where did Kamara finish? I don't know if it was that great.
Kamara, I think he had 4 catches and something like 30
he was
yards.
RB27. So
yeah.
Schultze nailed that one. Sit Kamara, and Kamara had 9.5 points. So good job, Schultze.
There you go. Big one. If they tailed Schultze on the old Rico Dowdle pick, I think you'd be sitting pretty happy here. And yeah, bigz, I think we definitely gave our viewers some good advice last week. Let's keep it up. All right. Well, let's talk about waiver wires now. And headed into week 6, there's a couple guys here that are looking pretty good and definitely are rosterable. Hopefully you have some waiver budget left to get in on some of these guys, because these are some guys that could probably fill in right away with how the injury bug has hit our fantasy lineup. So let's get into it. Let's get into the tight end quarterback position, and why don't you lead us off? Who do you got?
So I'm gonna go with Dylan Gabriel. I don't have huge hopes for Dylan Gabriel. He's 5'11", and we see that short quarterbacks really do struggle in the NFL. He's also on a pretty terrible Cleveland Browns team, but this was the toughest matchup going up against Minnesota in London. It was the toughest matchup that Dylan Gabriel is going to see going over the next through the end of the season. His matchups are green, green, green. Then he has a bye, green, green, green. He's got Tennessee and San Francisco, green, orange, green, green. So that's a lot of green. That's a lot of good matchups for a quarterback to go up against. The coaching staff in Cleveland decided to go with Gabriel over Joe Flacco, which is a vote of confidence. He had a tough matchup, still managed to wind up as QB 18 so far. Worst he could finish is QB 20 if he gets surpassed by the Monday night game. So in Superflex leagues, he's definitely startable. In redraft leagues, he's holdable, and he's not really going to hurt you if he becomes like if you have a bye week and you have to throw him in there. So there are a lot of quarterbacks. He doesn't really he didn't really add a whole lot in the run game for us to see, but yeah, I would make a claim on Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, and you had we mentioned pre-show about a tight end that we mentioned last week. You want to hit base on that a little bit here while you're talking about quarterbacks and tight ends?
Well, last week I went into the show sheet to add Theo Johnson to the priority ads at tight end, and you had beat me to it. And then this week he scored 2 touchdowns, and then I was going to add him again. And then I decided, now, since we talked him up last week, everybody knows basically. So I wasn't going to, I changed it to the Dylan Gabriel ad, but Theo Johnson emerging as a prime target for Jackson Dart. We knew with Malik Neighbors going down that there was going to be some elevation to Jackson Dart's targets, and Theo Johnson definitely looks like one of them. For a rookie tight end to score 2 touchdowns he's his second year. For a young tight end like Theo Johnson to score 2 touchdowns with a rookie quarterback who's just kind of like, getting his bearings in the league, Theo Johnson is absolutely a smash, especially if you A, missed the show last week, or B, saw the show, didn't make the claim, and he's still available. Go get him.
Yeah, we don't want to keep repeating them, but those are some ones that, we want to remind people that, if they're still around, they're certainly worth the ad. And for me, at that tight end quarterback style position, I'm going to talk about Darren Waller, who I'm just like, he's turned my head since returning to the field in week 4. I mean, his recent performance, it signals he's becoming a key asset at that position and for the Dolphins. And with Tyreek out for the season, Waddle's target share has spiked, but allowing him to showcase his knack for making plays in the middle now. And Waller caught all 5 of his targets last week, 78 yards and a touchdown. And the week before, 2 touchdowns, being a red zone target. In week 4, great stuff here. 3 touchdowns over 2 weeks. He's the second in receptions. And we saw what Jonnu Smith did last year in this Miami offense. And I think that I guess they were really serious about bringing Waller back and putting him right into that role. And I just wasn't sold on him being at that stage and being able to return to, good form. But he did all the work, looking pretty good. And as long as Darren Waller can stay healthy, he looks like to be a keystone piece of that Miami offense, as long as McDaniels is still the head coach. So we'll see about that. That could be a short string as well. But for now, he's putting up tight end 1 numbers in a landscape that is yearning for people to break out. Biggs mentioned some rookies. Well, I'm mentioning a veteran here, and if we can get some production at tight end at this stage of the year, go ahead and pick him up and see what he can do. If it's just a flash in the pan, he's easy enough to drop. But if this is really something that's a pattern of something that's going to happen, put some money down, see what happens.
Yeah, I think one of the funniest things that has happened all season was Darren Waller going to the Dolphins, and then everybody in the fantasy sphere, everybody in our purview, that is a degenerate that has tens of teams out there, was like, I did it. I drafted Darren Waller in a league, right? Just about everybody has one Darren Waller share. Which is comical. But in this offense, he's going to be touchdown dependent. So if he goes a week where he only has 5 targets and he doesn't score a touchdown, he's not really going to pop. But it looks like he's absolutely somebody that Tua is looking for in the red zone. Waddle proved once again that he is just not it. So it's going to be the Achane and Waller show, unless Malik Washington takes a big leap up. Darren Waller's here to stay, folks.
There it is. Yeah, I mean,
until he retires again.
Or not, whether we think it's going to happening, it's happening, folks, and better be on the train than off.
Yeah.
All right, Biggs. Let's get into wide receivers here. Wasn't too much happening, but there was a big performance from a Dallas wide receiver that you're going to highlight here.
So CeeDee Lamb got hurt, and there was some question. There was no question that George Pickens was going to become the wide receiver 1 with CeeDee Lamb out. But there was some question as to who was going to kind of emerge as the wide receiver 2 in the offense. And a lot of people had Jalen Tolbert. That didn't really pan out in this game. Kevontae Turpin didn't really pan out in this game. Ryan Flournoy, if we dig into this game, he had a 57% snap share, which is up from 0, 12, 32, and 23 over the last 4 weeks. So he definitely gets a boost with CeeDee Lamb being gone. He's been in the league a couple of years. He's 25. He's 6'1", 200 pounds. So he's got the size. But he had 9 targets, 6 catches on 114 yards, 19 yards per catch, which kind of jumps out. And then so far before the Monday night games, he's sitting as the wide receiver 13. That's without a touchdown. So if he can return that kind of production week after week until CeeDee Lamb is back, you're getting a top 24 wide receiver off the waiver wire. And if he adds a touchdown, suddenly he's looking at like point totals in the mid-20s. So he's definitely going to be available on Sleeper. He's available in 94% of leagues. So Ryan Flournoy is out there, folks. Go grab him. And just like you said with Waller, like, take the chance. He's easily droppable if he doesn't repeat this. But I feel like he's going to do at least while CeeDee Lamb is on the mend.
Yeah, I mean, people had some aspirations for Jalen Tolbert, but it looks like it's actually, Flournoy. And, let's tail it up and see what happens. Worst thing you could do is you're going to have to drop him. But if he can keep this up, especially while CD Lamb is out, something to keep your eye on. And another guy that I'm looking to keep my eye at the wide receiver position is, he's kind of on the verge of worth rostering at this stage. And some of the deeper formats, shallow ones, it might not be something yet, but it's something that I've thinking that's going to be a strong second half component here, and a guy that's going to contribute quite a bit in the second half, and he's contributing right now, to be honest. I mean, Torrey Horton has emerged as a tantalizing fantasy option at wide receiver, especially for managers looking for a deep stash headed into week 6. Over the past month, he's seen a healthy dose of targets, 15 across 4 weeks. Not too bad for a rookie with some depth at the wide receiver position. The rookie, he's flashed some upside too, consistently deliver at least 11 PPR points in 3 of his 4 games here, mainly thanks to his knack for finding the end zone. And he's got that touchdown upside. His rate is a bit inflated. Might be unsustainable. We'll have to see, but he's got some potential, and that ceiling makes him an intriguing play. There's some decent matchups coming up, so with some buys, if you're really struggling at wide receiver, and you never know what could happen. His role is slowly increasing here. Seattle's week 6 opponent, week 7 and week 8, they're okay, but I'm looking towards the second half of the season, and he could be a deep stash here. Not a whole lot of opportunity in the waiver market for wide receivers right now, but a guy that's can score some touchdowns. I think he's worth a flyer here, and someone that can add some stability to your lineup. So give him a worth. Give him a shot, and he may be a boomer bust option, but he could be on the radar as some consistency comes up, and God forbid an injury to either JSN or Cooper Kupp, and he catapults into very much a starting role every week, and that is very advantageous the way that the Seahawks are playing right now, and Sam Darnold's looking pretty darn good as well.
Torrey Horton is my 7th most owned wide receiver on Sleeper because he was a very affordable late round dart throw, and I think I have a 25% share. 25% of my rosters have Torrey Horton. So yeah, I've been in on the kid for a while, and I'd love to see him emerge. Unfortunately, with all of the injuries and everything, I had to drop him to pick somebody up to put in my lineup, and it was the week that he goes out and pops. But yeah, go get Torrey Horton. He's good.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked a little bit about him in the offseason as the rookie guide was coming out, and we had some conversations back and forth, and landing spot had a lot to do with it. And just like a lot of these wide receivers, if you get a good spot, and there's an opportunity here in that Clint Kubiak offense that sometimes favors the slot or the tight end position a bit right off the line. So there could be some opportunity here. And like I said, Cooper Kupp looks okay, but you never know what could happen with him. And if the Seahawks get out of favor and things start to slip a bit, they could be looking at their younger wide receiver to give him some more looks. And I really like to see the upside here in the second half now.
Yep.
Let's spotlight our running back rooms, because there's a couple running backs that, it's the position that kind of is the one that is sought after, at the mid-season part, because, those are the guys that can fill in and actually have a role and make a contribution to your fantasy lineup. Now, Biggs, let you go first here. Let's get into the running back spotlight.
All right, the game script didn't really favor it, but there is a running back who returned to action after starting off the season on IR. He had 4 touches against the Arizona Cardinals. The Titans are easing Tyjae Spears back into the back into the offense.
The offense is good too, yeah.
Tyjae Spears is a dynamic running back who's very explosive. He's had time to recover. He's getting back into action, and he's available in 72% of leagues on ESPN. So go grab Tyjae Spears as a priority running back. The thing about Spears is Similar to other running back rooms like Detroit, when you have a couple of guys who are both going to be sharing touches, Tyjae Spears is going to be getting carries and be used in the passing game along with Tony Pollard. And then if something happens to Tony Pollard, Tyjae Spears' share is going to increase. So you're going to want to have him on your roster, especially if you have Tony Pollard. Go out and grab Tyjae Spears now.
Yeah, I mean, got a feel for those Arizona Cardinal fans right now after that loss, losing the way in that fashion that they did. Pretty embarrassing. And I feel for anybody that is donning a Cardinals uniform jersey today, because it's a tough one to swallow. Yeah. Anyways, what do you think, Biggs? Should I get into my spotlight here?
Sure.
Let's do it. Well, I mean, a lot of us kind of got on the wagon probably late Saturday when we officially got the notice, that Chuba Hubbard wasn't going to start, and his rate has gone up. But I mean, if Rico Dowdle is somehow still on your waiver wire, 46% owned, vacant still on ESPN and Yahoo leagues currently, you better get out and get him, because even if Chuba Hubbard does come back in a week or two, Rico's shown that he's worth some playing time for sure. He's going to cut into that workload for sure. He exploded. We talked about earlier on the show, 206 yards rushing on the ground, and one of the best running back performances by a Panther ever. And they've had some good running backs play for them in the past. So pretty remarkable stuff from Rico Dowdle, a guy that played for the Dallas Cowboys last year, and he's going to have his revenge game coming up, and I think we can continue this hot streak moving on. I may not go so bold and make him a start of the week, because I did that with Woody Marks, but temper some expectations here. But just know that Rico can handle some work. He could show out, and he's feeling pretty comfortable with the Panthers right now, and we'll see what happens as the next game progresses and the rest of the year. But if he's out there, he's certainly worth the ad here. And another guy that maybe before I get you to comment on that, Biggs, if Jacory Croskey-Merritt is out there as well, a guy we definitely need to get on there. We talked about him in depth, but he's gobbled up on a lot of sleeper leagues. But if for some reason he is out there, I would probably put him ahead of Rico if he's there. But Rico Dowdle is probably the most common one this week in some of those shallower leagues here. So, Biggs, what are your thoughts on Rico? I talked to you a little bit about him earlier, but anything else to add?
I don't, because we talked about him earlier. And if both of those guys, Rico Dowdle and Jacory Croskey-Merritt, if they're available on your waiver wire, make the claim.
Yeah, agreed. Well, we got a lot going on here on FSAN. Some live shows hitting up the network. Our next show is going to be live here Thursday night, points after Thursday. You're going to see Grindberg and Bigz doing the live coverage. We had a good show last week, a lot of action in the chat, so be sure to come and join us after Thursday night football. Bigz is always here Sunday morning, whether it's in a hotel room, a car, the bathroom, it doesn't matter. He's here for you no matter what he's doing. That's early morning for him. So we appreciate him making the effort to get up at 8:30 Pacific time to get your start and sit questions. And then also be sure to follow up with Spilled Coffee right after. The crew does a good job there answering everybody's starts and sits questions as well. So big time stuff happening, but got a lot more on the go. Merch shop going full force. Make sure that if you want to get some fantasy forecast merch, be sure to use our code forecast15 for 15% off. Biggs, you got some pickles happening? There's some pickling going on here?
There is some pickling. Go to Chris's Smoked Pickles on Facebook. Send Chris a message on Messenger and tell him Big sent you. And go order yourself some pickles. If you don't like pickles, there's some really good smoked trail mix. He's got smoked meats and cheeses. He's doing big things up in Big Lake, Alaska, and his food is absolutely delicious.
Food, cheese,
Cheese.
oysters, all of the above, Biggs. It was hope you had a great time this weekend. I'm looking forward to rounding off, getting everybody started off for week 6 like we did, but continuing that on Friday and Saturday with the Dynasty Pulse crew at the weekend warm-up Friday morning, and then obviously on Saturdays with our start and sit show, our quick hitters. We're
Giants and Eagles Thursday night. Jackson
perfect.
Dart in action.
Yeah, you're going to be able to talk about your boy. Maybe we roll about 10 minutes early or something and get some in-game action or something.
Or not.
Yeah, let's watch the whole game. Let's do it. I love it. All right, folks. Anything to add to that, Biggs?
Nothing.
I'm
good.
All right, folks. From all of us on the Fantasy Sports Advice Network and the Fantasy Forecast,
we hope you win.
We hope you win, folks. Peace out, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.